that Wall Street has probably doubled in the last 10 years. So it really begs the question, where does our salvation come from? If not the top down, if not the Elon Musks and Jeff Bezos of the world, who will save us from the pain, the struggle, the poverty? And there's really only one answer. We will save us. Because the current model of extraction that we saw in Prop 64 has the value that's being created from plant medicines extracted out, going to financial centers under a model of profiteering that we now understand after as many years as we've lived under the extractive capitalist model. It doesn't work for communities. It works for financial centers of the world. So how do we turn this? And I want to appreciate what Reggie said up here, that it's up to us. It's not preordained that we must give away the value we create in plant medicines that belong to all of our ancestors and ship it away into financial centers. It can stay here locally, but we have to write the rules. And we do write the rules here at the local level, which is why I'm honored today to once again be standing up here with Noel Gallo, who got this whole movement kicked off 2.5 years ago, and then worked to protect community-based ceremonies so that didn't become another victim of extractive capitalization, but to protect the most inexpensive and proven way of holding ceremony, which is in community-based ceremony. He passed a motion in December 2020 to protect community-based ceremony. So thank you for that. In many of these cases, we still need the protections at the state level. But we're working against some corporate interests at the state level, and make no mistake about it. If you have a bunch of capitalists supporting a PAC, the motive is profiteering. It simply is. So our job is to push back, protect that for which our ancestors died and paid the highest price, and work to protect our own community, heal each other, and we'll do that through this Go Local initiative. So Noel, I'd like to turn it over to you, and again, thank you for all you've done for this movement.
Thank you. Thanks to all of you. How about a big applause for Carlos Pasola for bringing us together and celebrating our lives here in the city of Oakland and California and the United States of America and throughout the country. I want to thank all of you. Today is Indigenous Day, right? And so I'm going to ask my son Noel to step up. No, come on up here. Show him your tribal card to make sure. So this morning, Noah and I, we were up at 4 in the morning in San Francisco. We had to be there by 5 a.m. to get on the ferry boat to get over to Alcatraz Island to launch a major effort in celebrating, recognizing Indigenous Day. And I was surprised by the number of young people from UC Berkeley, Stanford, and throughout the Bay Area that attended, joined us, and joined in the celebration. So today is a very historic day, and I'm grateful for the prayer and recognition. And let me get right to the point. I support everything that's been said. Growing up here in East Oakland, I grew up with a grandmother. And my grandmother came out of the Yaqui Pueblos over in Sinaloa, state of Sinaloa, Mexico. There are 7 original Yaqui Pueblos outside of Hermosillo, Sinaloa. But I bring her up because when we were growing up here in East Oakland, we didn't know who Walgreens was. We didn't know who the doctor down the street was, because she grew the plants in the backyard. We all thought it was green tea. She would say it was green tea, but it didn't look like green tea when I got older. But anyway, so if you ever had an illness, a flu, or ill, she would create and use the plants that she had grown in the backyard. And so I say that to you because today, many of our Latin American families that are here from Central America, Mexico, they're growing those plants in their backyard. These are native plants that have been around for thousands of years in Africa, in Europe, in China, throughout the world. But all of a sudden, we come to an age that the corporate wants to make sure that, you buy everything from Walgreens, and that's the answer to your problems, as opposed to being able to do what my grandmother did, took care of all of us. I never saw a doctor or met a doctor till I was drafted to go to the Vietnam War. Right behind, there used to be the recruitment office right behind this building, where the state building is.
1313.
There you go, brother. So I remember getting my notice right out of high school saying, Noel, you got to show up and get tested, all the medical training. And yes, they said, Noel, and 2 Fridays from now, you got to be here and catch the bus, and we're going to haul you out of here too for the training. But thank God Richard Nixon, a week before that, terminated the war, and I didn't have to go, and I went on to UC Berkeley. But anyways, just to give you a short, brief story in terms of the native plants that we have. It is not a new idea. It is not a new concept. And what I'm here to support is that we need to give the opportunity to our families to be able to get back, if we need to grow the yerba buenas, as we call them, to be able to create healing for our families, we ought to allow that practice. And not only allow the corporations and allow the higher institutions to drug you, sell you everything, and make a profit. And I'll leave you with the story about marijuana. When I got on the council, I've been on here 9 years, right? And so when I got on the council, we legalized marijuana in the city of Oakland. Right, so you know, Carlos can grow 6 plants at his home, smoke all the weed he wants to at home, and so the police aren't going to show up to arrest him, right? And so the reality is, in doing so, what we created, because at that time we had permitted 8 dispensaries, and when we started the process, we found out we had 383 people doing business in Oakland without licensing and permit. Now we permitted those 300, but now I find out that we got 800. And here's the bottom line. For all of you standing here, we created the expansion and the sale of marijuana with the understanding of race and equity behind. Because we wanted our minority communities to be part of the business development, the growth, the opportunities, and guess what's happening now? We're not present. The people with money took control and are making big profits out of that. So I stand here before you. It's very clear what direction the city of Oakland will take. We're going to draft a resolution, create an ordinance, and bring it before the council. But in the process, we're going to do community outreach. We're going to go out and check in the neighborhood and get their input, get their discussion, their advice, and be able to bring it to the council and ask for approval. That you at home, if you want to grow the yerba buenas in your backyard, you will have the authority and the ability to do that without having to wait for a police guy to come and knock on your door and say, what are you doing? And so we're trying to create that process, and it's going to take all of us, but at the end of the day, these native plants are extremely valuable. I see many people on our sidewalks and our streets that we can use the help that we can get. And this is an avenue that we can provide some support, not only to the veterans on the street, but also to some of my neighbors and people that I went to high school with that need a special attention when it comes to medical services. So I thank you for that. Carlos, we're ready to join you and enjoy the day, Indigenous Day, and let's celebrate each other and give thanks to God for allowing us to be here together. Thank you.